My little pony, my little pony. My little pony. Do you know you are my very best friends?
Hello, my little comic book ponies. I'm Critical Analysis, and I just finished rereading My Little Pony Micro Series number 10, featuring Luna. Once upon a time, before Friends Forever, there was the MLP Micro Series. These were one-shots that focused on a single character. This only lasted 10 issues before it switched over to Friends Forever, but it was a fun, albeit short-lived series, and it ended on a high note with today's issue. My original plan was to review this live at the St. Louis Crystal Fair, but I don't have the fame to even think about doing such a thing. However, recent episodes of the show made me realize that a good chunk of the issues that I had previously stated concerning the My Little Pony comics as a whole stem from a problem that I will discuss after today's comic. As always, we'll start with the covers, and my oh my, we have a menagerie of magnificent murals. The main cover parallels that of Micro Series number 8, Celestia's issue, adorning Luna in this gypsy-like garb, appearing very majestic. However, I must dock points because this tells no story at all. Most of the other covers have the same effect. The Van Gogh-like variant by Sarah Richard once again is as stunning as any other, but it has the same problem from before. The worst one is the Jetpack Comics and Games exclusive.
I don't get this. I don't get it.
None of us know what it means either.
The Cover B variant is the closest one to tell something akin to the story within. Luna is acting crazy after having drank 100 cups of coffee. Do you know what that much caffeine can do to some pony? Anyway, we begin our story with Luna recounting her late night patrol to Celestia, now with more bedhead. What an eventful evening! At the gloaming, I ran off a manticore in the forest. Then my guard and I scoured the fjords for owlbear that were terrorizing the subjects. Delightful! It sounds like quite the night. I can only imagine what the day will bring me. There are delegates from the Crystal Empire here to go over the Snow Day Festival. Wait, another festival? How many celebrations do ponies have? Luna thinks that Celestia's job is trivial and wants to do it. Although Celestia objects, Luna relentlessly insists on ruling over the day for a day. And Celestia relents. We are then introduced to Kibitz, Celestia's royal scheduling advisor, and thus Luna's one-day rule begins. She starts with her morning assessment of the land. How excited to see so many ponies out and about during the day. The peasantry of our kingdom enjoying the land. Thrilling! Let's not call them peasantry, princess. It's not endearing. No? What about serfs? No. The peons? Definitely not. Civilians? Oh, that will work. However, Luna has no time to keep watching the civilians and must go talk to the Royal Guard. Ah, the Royal Guard! Action! Peril! I await their thrilling tales of the day's upcoming adventures! And she finds out that they're all doing nothing but polishing armor and going to bake sales because they are in a time of peace. Good thing none of them have contracted themselves out to be mercenaries.
And then we're going through the Everfree Forest on patrol. We thought we saw a monster yesterday.
Oh, goody, did you?
Goodness no, it was just a possum. Gave Flash Sentry over there quite the start though.
It did! Haha! Cheap shots against the character whose only trait is boyfriend! Satisfying. Elsewhere, a shady-looking cloaked figure stalks the back alleys of Kedgerlot and knocks on the door.
What's the password?
Hufakir. Princess Celestia, it's been so long since we've seen you. Welcome! That's right, Celestia is using the back entrance to the elite equine spa. Meanwhile, Luna is doing lots and lots of paperwork for one panel until she has to run off to address the complaints of the populace, involving Flim and Flam. Those two just can't stay out of trouble. Luna has to dart off again, but not before she makes her decree. The stallion twins with the propensity to sing shall return all goods to those they have wronged. You're all dismissed. Now, folks, don't be that way.
How about double or nothing?
Wait, it's only 9 in the morning? 9 in the morning? Do they walk on Dragon Ball time? How long have they been at this? We then get a montage of Luna dealing with the bureaucracy of the day while Celestia gets treated like a princess. This rigorous day, however, has exhausted Luna. At least it's lunchtime. Can I have cake? Duh, look at that adorable sad face.
Do you know what all that refined sugar will do to you?
It will make me most happy. Kids, remember that next time you don't get what you want. During lunch, though, Luna talks to Kibitz. I have the feeling that Celestia may have been right when I was a bit over my head in this task, and this feeling of defeat leaves me agitated. I do not care for this feeling. Uh-oh, Luna's turning emo.
Buck up, princess. You told your sister you could handle all of this. She would never have let you try if she didn't think you could do it.
Why, thank you, Kibitz. That was most reassuring. Luna then heads off to a garden party with Fancy Pants, but Kibitz has to step away to get some more pens. When he gets back, Fancy Pants and Luna are playing chess with the castle guests at the pieces. I'm not sure which was eviler, the Luna that wanted the night to last forever, or the Luna that treats her subjects like they're her toys. Kibitz draws her away to the next task, a meeting concerning the choreography for the torch lighting ceremony. And that's another ceremony the ponies have. And then the ponies in the blue costumes will come out and do the Navigator. It's the newest dance craze. Remember how I said in my review of Ponies of Dark Water that citation is needed? Here's a prime example. In My Little Pony Friendship is Magic number 10, Big Mac inadvertently creates this dance named the Navigator. navigator. While it's a nice piece of callback humor for those who have stayed with the comics, for new readers this is just some random thing they made up. A couple of little edits would have turned this from lol so random to wanna learn something new about this? Go read this comic! Now you've given new readers something to explore on their own. However, Luna wants to skip the meeting and move on to the next one, but the ceremonies need her approval, but she needs to continue her list. So they do everything at the same time in a nice big 2-page spread, and a switch breaks in Luna's head and
Enough! Silence, subordinates!
whoa! That is scary! A silhouetted Luna, her wings and legs fully spread out, only the red in her shining through as she releases bats from her ruffled wings, standing with such emphasis that even Kibitz looks like he just soiled his pants and hasn't realized it yet. We saw Luna get mad in Luna Eclipse, but nothing, and I mean nothing, quite like this image. This is a reason I love the comics, imagery you cannot get from the show, such as this imposing presence of one princess. Luna decides to handle things her way by having every pony line up for their ceremonies and adornments. And so we end our comic with Celestia returning and congratulating Luna on a job well done. You're quite welcome, but I must admit, I had no idea your daily routine was so difficult. It is most unpleasant. Please take back your duties at once. I beg of you, give me back my quiet evenings of prowling for beastly creatures and dreaming of Sawatanexo. Wait a tick, Sawatanexo? As in Sawatanexo, Mexico? Do pony dreams of human lives? However, since it's now the night shift, Celestia is going to bed. Come back, I want to go to bed too! Meanwhile, back at the garden party, Fancy Pants and the civilians are wondering if Luna will ever return. However, this comic isn't entirely over. There is an extra short. Throughout this comic has been a possum. The night before, after dealing with the Manticore, Luna got herself a pet and named him Tiberius. And I think this is a nod to William Shatner. Shatner voiced an overacting possum in the animated film Over the Hedge. In the original series of Star Trek, he played the roles of James Tiberius Kirk. Hence the connection. Plus, it's as chubby as him. This comic is fantastic. It's no wonder why I feel that this is the best individual comic of My Little Pony. The comic may seem like it has a hectic pacing, but it works to the comic's favor because that is what Luna is having to do. Keep up at a hectic pace with very little time to breathe. Once she stopped doing things Celestia's way and did things her way, all was well. It's fun, funny, and an entertaining comic. However, we have a royal problem. Literally, because I need to talk about that episode. Season 7, Episode 10 of My Little Pony did something different with this concept. Starlight Glimmer went to the royal castle because the royal sisters were fighting. Starlight swaps their cutie marks to get them to walking in each other's shoes for a day. In doing so, Luna had to be surrounded by ponies and maintain her composure, while Celestia had to protect the dream world in complete solitude. Celestia tries to protect Starlight Glimmer in her dream when Nightmare Moon and Celestia's dark side, Daybreaker, both appear and fight one another. And somehow this helps to reinforce my fanfiction where Celestia has daddy issues. Anyway, Celestia calls forth Luna for help. Luna can only give her moral support, but it's enough to help Celestia clear the bad dreams. The next morning, Luna and Celestia make nice, and Twilight pops in to drag Starlight away and get every single detail about what happened. If you want that, Twilight, just ask for the script. This episode was fantastic, except for one little thing. Its continuity with the comics. Either Luna and Celestia forgot such a major traumatic event, which I seriously doubt, or Microseries number 10 did not happen. It was retconned. Retconned, or retroactive continuity, occurs when a new piece of information overrides something that we previously knew. While retcons can fix old plot holes, this is a case where they can destroy entire stories. I also saw this happen with Fiendship is Magic number 3, the comic that told the story of the incredible music duels between the Sirens and Stars Will the Bearded ended up being completely retconned by a flashback image in the season 7 finale, and this is no different. I now realize that the problem that I have with the comics that I previously stated in my review of Ponies of Dark Water may be stemming from the relationship between the show and the comics. If there's a conflict in continuity between the two, the show wins by default. It is the primary continuity, while the comics are the secondary continuity. That means the show can overwrite anything that the comics have done. This puts the comics in a very dangerous position. It relies on the show and its stories to exist, but the show can easily kill anything that it makes. How can the staff give it their all, even if they passionately love the series, if all their efforts can be weighed away in the future? I had to give this some thought as to how to fix this, and I came up with 3 in order of least ideal to most ideal. The first solution would to have the comics exist in a separate timeline. However, this means updating the reader at the start of every comic with said differences, and that is not very ideal. The second is that the comics stay a season behind the show. This allows the comics much more freedom, but once again, simple things like the flashback in the season 7 finale can still destroy continuity. However, this solution makes it less likely. The third and most ideal solution would be one that fits with the spirit of My Little Pony. The comics and the show work together in harmony. Currently, it feels like that they are working separately without cross-communication, hence why we got Friendship is Magic number 38 and 39 right after we got Crusaders of the Lost Mark. And I feel that it's a shame because of the show that they are working on. The two teams need to work together if they are going to have a comic series that isn't always afraid of erasure because of the whims of its almighty overlords. However, I don't want to be a downer when it comes to this comic. While the continuity of My Little Pony's microseries number 10 has been flushed down the toilet, it is still a very enjoyable and very entertaining read. And you can find it at all of the usual places such as Comixology, Amazon, Google Store, the Apple Store, or your local retailer. With all of that said, I need to make an announcement. This is my last review of My Little Pony. I am officially done with the series. I've watched 7 seasons of the show, read numerous comics, enjoyed a lot of fan-made material, and I've seen all of the movies released thus far. But my enjoyment of the franchise has waned to the point that I hated the My Little Pony movie. Either I've grown out of My Little Pony, or My Little Pony has grown out of me. If it's the first, fair enough, it happens. But if it's the latter, then I feel it's because My Little Pony does not have a lot of stories left to tell involving the main 6. I know that is a heretical thing to state, but hear me out. The times that I've enjoyed My Little Pony lately was when it focused on the Cutie Mark Crusaders, or Starlight Glimmer, or any of the adventures in the world of Equestria girls. Even the story about Applejack's parents was engaging, but when it involved the main 6 that we've seen for the last 7 years, especially after they've devolved into the stupidity tropes of many kids shows, it gets a little hard to get invested. I feel the show needs to pass the torch onto the next generation of characters, or it will continue to hemorrhage viewers. Maybe this comes from me growing more cynical as I grow older, to the point that I need to push certain things out of my life if I'm going to be able to enjoy things that I think are more enjoyable. Or maybe the show really is getting predictable and boring to the point that they need a drastic new shakeup where the main 6 gives their main character status to some secondary characters and thus become the secondary characters themselves. But does that mean it's the end of critical analysis? Absolutely not. I'll be back soon, and with a new look. And I'll be critically analyzing something that I truly know something about. Video games. Or anything else that I fancy. So keep an eye out for that. I'm Critical Analysis, signing out.